With the new garden update that released to Hypixel Skyblock a couple of weeks ago, the update introduced a lot of new crops, as well as the greenhouse, which has different mechanics for growing crops on the garden. The update added also a whole bunch of new items that people were trying to get, which caused the economy of various different farming crops to skyrocket. Majority of the crops that were manipulated in price have gone back to normal, but there is currently one crop that is still 5 times more expensive than it was before the update. This, of course, is going to be mushrooms. Here is the bizarre graph for the enchanted red mushroom block. As you can see, the days upcoming to the garden update, it is around 50,000, and it has been pretty stable for a lot of months. Then as soon as the garden update drops, the price goes from 50,000 all the way up to 250,000, and it has been stable ever since. So if you are like me and are not max farming, right now I'm currently farming 46 and would like to get farming 50 as soon as I can, but this applies to anyone that is below farming level 50. To get the new gear, you're going to want to be farming red mushrooms. Right now, mushrooms give the highest amount of base XP per block. Breaking them normally will give you 6 experience, but with all of the buffs that are happening right now, I'm currently getting 19 XP per mushroom. If I equip a pet like a rabbit, which has 30% more farming wisdom, I'm getting 22.5, which is currently the fastest way to get XP for farming. So in this video, I will show you how to efficiently farm these mushrooms. I won't be going over the max setup, of course, because if you're farming mushrooms, then you don't have maxed. But I'll show you the general items that you should be using and the progression of that if you were to max it. But without further ado, let's get into it. So of course, the first thing you're going to want to have for this method is of course a mushroom farm. Right here I have my 3-layer mushroom farm that extends over 5 plots. This is infinite, so when I come all the way back and fall off the end to get teleported back to the start, these mushrooms here will be regenerated, so then I can just keep going and I don't have to wait. But if you want this layout for this farm, check the link in the description for the layout that I used. It'll probably take you max 20 minutes to set up, so it's super nice. So they did change the way that hoes work in this update. If you head to the desk, go to the Sky Mart and click on the farming tools, here is all of the farming tools that you can buy. Right now, you cannot list these on the auction house, so you are going to have to buy it with copper. Each one of these tools costs 250 copper, so if you just accept your visitors, you'll get 250 copper in no time. Once you've done that, buy a fungi cutter Mark 1. And here's how you should go about upgrading it. Now, with all of the farming tools, there are going to be 3 different tiers of hoe. If you want to upgrade it into the higher tier, you're just going to need that tool specific crop as well as Jacob's tickets. So upgrading your fungi cutter into Mark 2 will cost you around 10 million coins, I would say, if you were to just instant buy it from the bazaar. Then if you plan on upgrading it into the 3rd tier, it'll probably cost you around 30 mil coins to upgrade. So right now I'm using the Mark II version of it, since I don't really want to spend that much money on a hoe. As for enchants on your fungi cutter, the main ones you are going to want to have is efficiency, cultivating, turbo mushrooms, harvesting, and if you really want to, you can buy dedication. For the ultimate enchants, you can put crop fever on it. These books have been dropping in price ever since the update dropped. Before, they were worth hundreds of millions of coins. Now the cheapest one is 1.9 million. These are still going to drop in price, and as the weeks go on and more people get them, I assume it's going to drop in price. So if you just want to hold out and you aren't really interested in spending much money on a farming tool, then I'll just wait to put crop fever on. But if you have crop fever on, you are going to be making more money. And if you just recently bought your fungi cutter and it isn't really a high level, I would just recommend buying like 10 of these and just applying it onto it. The way that farming tools work now is each of these tools has a different level. The higher level, of course, is going to give you more farming fortune as well as that crop's fortune. So having it high level will give you more farming fortune. So of course you're going to want that. So if you just buy 10 of these, like I said, you're just going to be instantly getting a million XP on it. You can buy more if you are lazy and just want to upgrade it to the highest tier. It won't be that expensive. But if you reach the max amount of levels, then just go to the Overclocker 3000, buy 10 of these, and you'll get 10 more levels on it. For the Reforge, you're going to want to have the Blessed, This will give you farming fortune as well as farming wisdom. Of course, if you are farming mushrooms, you are kind of working on your farming level as well as just getting money in general. So these tackle both of these with one reforge. So have the blessed fruit on it. As for gemstones, it doesn't really matter which ones you buy. Right now I'm using fine because perfect costs 25 million. And mushrooms isn't my main crop. Fine costs 30,000 coins and it gives you 3 farming fortune. If you want an additional 2 farming fortune, then buy a perfect gemstone. But that is pretty much it for the basic enchants on this tool. Now let's talk about the next item that I would recommend getting. This of course is going to be the Pest vacuum. You can buy these on the Sky Mart or just buy it from the auction house directly. What this is just going to do is, of course, pests are going to be spawning on your plot. Once they start filling up your garden, you'll get reduced farming fortune. So once that happens, it's just best to go deal with them. At the same time, you can be making a lot of money from these. Just randomly a couple days ago, I got a drop that was worth 20 million coins. So once you get the notification that your farming fortune is starting to be affected by the pests, just stop farming, go suck them up. You might get more profit from it. It takes like 2 minutes to get rid of them and then just go back to farming. If you come talk to Philip down here, you can trade in pests for farming fortune. You will get a 60-minute buff for, I believe, 20 pests exchange. And one last thing I forgot is the pet. Now, I would recommend 2 different pets depending on what you actually plan on doing for this. If you really want to increase your farming level faster, go with a rabbit pet at epic or higher rarity. This will give you the highest amount of farming wisdom it'll give, but if XP isn't really your main focus, then you can go with a mushroom cow. This will give you farming fortune as well as just more drops in general, but I will run a 5 or 10 minute test to see how much money I can make as well as XP. Then we'll calculate it to see how much I can make in an hour. So let's go. Alright, so after crafting everything and sucking up my pests in the 5 minutes, here's all the items that I managed to get from it. I dropped a fermento while farming my mushrooms, so I'm not really going to count that. In 5 minutes, I am making around 1.2 million if I instant sell. At the current rate, I'm getting around 14.4 million coins per hour. If I don't include the overclocker that I dropped from a pest, and just assume that I get basic drops from it, I'm making around 962. And if we multiply that by 12, I'm making around 11.5 million coins per hour with the current setup that I have right now, which is pretty good considering the current state of my setup. Definitely not maxed, but I definitely will be farming mushrooms until I do reach farming level 50. Right now, with the increase in price from mushrooms, this is still a very good method of farming. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions or comments or something you'd like to suggest, or leave them in the comments below so others can see. But yeah, that's basically it.